Good morning, sunshine, and welcome back to another episode of Shinebuzz Daily, where it's all about lifting your vibration, taking inspired action, and creating the life that you want and deserve after a toxic relationship. Today, we are going to talk about something that is a little embarrassing to me, but it's something that I think, it's a story that I feel like I should tell because I think some of you will relate, and those of you who don't relate directly might relate indirectly. So it's an embarrassing story, or a lot embarrassing. But I think it's, like I said, I suspect even if you haven't experienced exactly that, you might relate on some level. So when I went away to college, I found myself spinning. I almost immediately kind of lost it. I grew up in a situation where I was under the thumb of a very harsh, toxic parent. And because of this excessive amount of control that was exerted during childhood, I didn't really understand how to sort of be normal. And what I mean is everybody else seemed like they had more, life experience somehow. I had been very controlled. Let me just leave it at that. So soon after school started, I was doing a lot of things that were just really not good for me. Not only did I try an experiment with alcohol and a few drugs, never shot up or anything, but I tried all the basic stuff people try in college, I guess. I found myself getting a certain kind of attention from men and the people around me, students, etc. I was 18 and I went to college with, I had a boyfriend throughout high school, but we had never, gone all through all the way, right? So I sort of wasted that first time on someone who was probably a fifth or sixth year senior and who didn't care about me at all. And I, in this lack of self-awareness and this lack of understanding myself and who I was, I started to embrace this unhealthy attention in unhealthy ways, right? So to put it mildly, I had a lot of friends with benefits, except they weren't really friends. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to go too deep into this because it's not about the actual situation, except for it's about what I was going through as an individual during that time. I told myself, I'm a liberated woman. I don't have to follow society's rules. Guys do this all the time. I shouldn't be bound by the fact that I'm female. I should be allowed to go out and do what I want to do and have fun. And gosh darn it, I would do what I wanted. And then I tried to tell myself, I'm not going to follow society's rules. And I told myself what I was doing didn't really mean anything at all. It had no connection to anything. It was just a physical thing, and that was it. And the truth was, and this is something I couldn't admit to myself or anyone else around me at that time, was that at the time I was secretly hoping, and this is really embarrassing, secretly hoping that one of those people would just fall in love with me and sort of save me from myself. How ridiculous is that? But I did. Of course it didn't happen. It never happened. But in my insecurity and my lack of self-esteem, along with my, shall we say, premature physical connections to these people, well, in hindsight, I'm guessing I was probably a pretty unattractive option for just about any healthy person, right? Eventually I learned my lesson the hard way, and I stopped living that way. I met a guy who I was madly in love with, and that didn't work out well either because, of course, he turned out to be a little bit toxic, but irrelevant. It took a lot of self-reflection and the development of a certain amount of self-awareness for me to understand, thankfully this happened within a year or two of school, of leaving home. But during that time, I can't even. It was ridiculous how crazy I went in that time. But eventually, I would eventually have just enough self-esteem that I would recognize that I was more than just that, and that I deserved to be treated like more than an actual object, which is what had been happening to me up to that point. And I thought it was all in my control. In reality, I was just secretly desperate for someone to approve of me and like me. And that was just the total wrong way of going about doing it. And in hindsight, I have a lot of, shame and disgust with myself about having done that. But it taught me a lot of lessons, and it gives me something maybe that I can share with you today that maybe you can take some comfort in or some understanding in, right? Maybe you've been there, or you haven't been exactly there, but you've done something like that on some level in your own life, whether it was that sort of thing or some other sort of way to sort of please people around you, you know? Whether you can relate directly or indirectly, I think we can all agree on one thing, and that is that going through a toxic relationship of any sort does a real number on your self-esteem. In this case, I was affected by growing up the way that I did, and, you know, not only does it do a number on your self-esteem, but also on your ability to trust and believe in yourself. I didn't even know who I was. I thought I did. I did not. This is why a lot of times when I see, you know, super young adults, 18, 19-year-old, you know, people, I say, and I don't mean any insults to them, but I say, you know, these people are still children, because I was still a child. I really was. I didn't understand what I was doing, why I was doing it, and I was lying to myself about it, you know? Nearly anyone who has survived a relationship with a toxic narcissist experiences, at the very least, a very slight dip in their self-esteem. But when we've also been raised by toxic people, or even when we've struggled with other types of trauma, like say we were relentlessly bullied all the way growing up, even if we had good parents at home, that's going to mess with our heads, right? We come out of these relationships completely crushed with little to no self-esteem, self-worth, self-value. We forget who we are, or we never really knew. We think we don't deserve to be happy, or that we aren't being treated with love and respect, or we aren't worth that. Or we just decide we're better off alone, and we steer clear of most people. Worse, when we aren't aware of what we've experienced or how it, you know, what it all means, because a lot of times people come to me and they go, I didn't even know that I was being abused. I thought I was just messed up. You know, we find ourselves jumping into, in some cases, toxic relationship after toxic relationship, never taking the time to heal ourselves, never taking the time to learn how to, you know, to end that cycle in our lives and maybe our bloodlines, right? We fail to set boundaries. We allow people to walk all over us, and then we allow life to happen to us rather than choosing what it is that we want, right? All of this is the direct result, in my opinion, of really not understanding how to heal ourselves properly. So today I'm going to share with you the 4 keys of healing your own self-esteem so that you can create a life that you love. And with that being said, let's catch a shine buzz. All right, so you're going to focus on 4 specific things in order to really heal your self-esteem and sort of maybe even bring it into existence for the first time, depending on what led up to this moment in your life, right? So self-esteem, as we all know, is very often directly linked with various types of success in life: happiness, relationship success, career success, all those things. If you're not confident in who you are, well, you're probably not going to get very far, because you're not going to be able to take any initiative. And if you do, you probably will doubt yourself so hard that you're going to end up on the other side of that road. But there are 4 main factors that can influence your self-esteem, and they're so simple, you're probably going to want to slap me when I tell them to you, but they're good, and they really, it's going to sound oversimplified, but I think if you're here with me now, you're going to feel me on this, okay? So it's your feelings, your thoughts, your behaviors, and your actions, all right? So how well you develop each of those factors is really connected to how much self-esteem you have and how much self-awareness you have. And this in turn, of course, affects your ability to be happy in your life and be successful on any level. So, excuse me, feelings, feelings are the most basic of those factors, right? This is how you react emotionally. This is how immediately after something happens, what do you feel? What happens to your body? What happens to your emotions? If you have a lot of negative feelings, one of your first go-to emotions might be to get angry or upset. I can't tell you how many people in my life I know just like that. Inside the toxic relationship, chances are that you managed your feelings by, well, not managing them. Because I found in my own relationships, I was forced to either shove down the emotions or deal with the narcissistic rage and injury that came to me when the emotions didn't match what they wanted them to be. I'm sure you can relate to that. But if you're anything like me, this probably left you with some pretty deep emotional scars, right? Once you are, though, where we are now, where you're healing and you're evolving and you're moving forward in your life, well, then you might need to learn how to adapt your feelings in such a way that you'll be more likely to react positively to things, or at least neutrally to things, and that you'll be more able to handle those negative feelings as they come up, right, in a more effective way. We all know that feelings are very important when it comes to our self-esteem, because clearly they dictate how we handle certain situations. And that's true whether we're talking positive or negative situations. Thoughts aren't, we're moving on to thoughts, okay? So thoughts are not the most complex of the 4 factors, but certainly can hold the most weight, because we all know that as we think, so we are, so on and so forth. Thoughts, obviously, the definition of anything running through your head, you know, and your thoughts have an effect on your feelings directly, on your behaviors and your actions. So negative thoughts might be like thinking about things that you're stressed out about, or things that make you doubt yourself and your abilities. You might need to recognize, this is all about the intentional vibration management part here, like we talk about all the time. You have to recognize that negative thoughts, they mess with your life. So take the time to intentionally monitor your thoughts, at least for a couple of weeks, because if you do that, you'll notice you might think negatively more than you realize. And if you intentionally change those thoughts in the moment, you can really see a significant increase in your ability to be happy, which is awesome. So if you recognize those negative thoughts and you stop them immediately, and then intentionally replace them with positive thoughts, well, your self-esteem will almost automatically begin to lift. Pretty amazing. Now, let's move on to behaviors. Behaviors, they're harder to recognize, right? Because these are things we do subconsciously. So, for example, if you walk around with your head hunched low, and your shoulders are slumped, well, that might be a sign of low self-confidence, but you might not even notice that you're doing it. And what I found to be really effective is to ask people around me, like, what do you see? What sort of, do you notice any weird behaviors of mine, or do you notice anything that I seem to do without thinking about it? And if that's not possible, then, you can always ask a therapist, a counselor, a coach, a support group member, whatever. And once you notice those things, you can start to work on them, or at the very least, if you're not able to ask someone, ask yourself. Become self-aware. Be aware of your posture. Be aware of what you're thinking and feeling and doing and saying. And if you take 2 weeks to 4 weeks and you do this, you manage yourself. You watch how you think. You watch how you walk. It might be a little hard, but getting through that 2 to 4 weeks of that, it could literally change your entire life, because you will be intentionally managing not only your vibration, but your energy, which is all connected, of course, the same thing. But check yourself once an hour, maybe, if you need, or constantly monitor yourself if you're in a position to be able to do that. Actions are the next and final step in connecting your self-esteem to your happiness and your success. And one of the worst actions, this is going to annoy you, one of the worst actions we can do is no action, inaction. Taking nothing, doing nothing at all, keeping everything the same as it always has been. That's not going to work for us as survivors. We've had to go through a level of whatever, suffering, pain, whatever, that other people haven't. But we also have been, and I'm not trying to talk about the negative stuff here, we've been through some stuff. I'm just going to say that, okay? But by learning how to take the risks necessary and how to put our thoughts into action, not just sitting around and hoping and wishing everything to come our way, but take those positive thoughts, take inspired action, moving forward into the better parts of our life, right? Choosing intentionally what comes next. Well, we're not only going to boost our success and our happiness and all the good stuff, but our self-esteem is just naturally going to move forward and move up. All of these factors build on each other, one another, with thoughts that affect our reactions. Our reactions affect our behaviors affect our actions, and so on and so forth, right? So in order to know how to be confident in yourself, you need to have a really good grip on those factors. thoughts affecting actions, thoughts affecting reactions, reactions affecting behaviors, behaviors affecting actions, right? All right. You know what time it is now, right? That's right. It's time to read the cards. So let us pull this out of here. Hello, everybody. I'm going to get our cards ready for the day. Oop, they're slipping out of the thing. Okay. So as usual, we are starting with Dialectical Behavior Therapy Skills deck, which will be linked in the description below after this video goes live again, but it is not required that you buy it because I will share every single card with you over the next few weeks. And in fact, today we're on card number 34, which is an emotional regulation skill. Now this is your homework, so grab your pen and your paper and get ready because I want you to write some of this down, okay? This is a good one too. It says, see the big picture. Today, when you get overwhelmed by emotions, ask yourself, what was I thinking and feeling? Then ask, oh my gosh, this is so funny how directly connected to our topic today is. And I don't even look at these before the, before the show. Okay. Ask yourself, what was I thinking and feeling? Then ask, what evidence supports my thoughts and feelings and what evidence contradicts them? You're likely overlooking the evidence that contradicts them. Finally, consider healthier alternative ways to think and feel about the situation. This must be like one of those shinebuzz moments for me because I can't believe how directly connected to our topic this is. So I'm going to read it to you one more time because I know that everybody needs to write it down and some people might. Here it goes. Today, when you get overwhelmed by emotions, ask yourself, what was I thinking and feeling? Then ask, what evidence supports my thoughts and feelings and what evidence contradicts them? You're likely overlooking the evidence that contradicts them. Finally, consider healthier alternative ways to think and feel about the situation. Love that. Okay. And really quickly, we are going to do our affirmation for the day, and then I'm going to jump in the chat and talk to y'all for another 30 or 40 minutes. All right, here we go. We are pulling this from our Super Attractor deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. Again, this will be linked in the description below, but you don't need to buy it because I'm sharing all the cards with you over the next several weeks. And today's card is really kind of cool. And it kind of also goes along with our topic. It says, and this is your affirmation for today, so write this down. It says, I let an inner sense of quiet multiply each day as I strengthen my faith in the love of the universe. I'm going to read it one more time. I let an inner sense of quiet multiply each day as I strengthen my faith in the love of the universe. And of course, you can say God if you prefer. You don't have to say universe. Not everybody likes it that way, but that's what it is. All right. Very good. Very good. I see some awesome people in the chat today. So let me scroll on up to the top and let's just jump right in. Hello, Angela. Hello, Infidel Biker. Welcome back. Suzanne, welcome back. Caitlin, Shred Squad. Hello and welcome back. E-Rock, I've been worried about you. I worried about you yesterday. You weren't here. And I'm glad that you're here today, E-Rock. How are you doing? Lawrence, hello from the Philippines. Hello, hello. Let's see. Arlita, hello and welcome. Teresa, welcome. Ricky Bliss, welcome. Jen Archer representing the Mod Squad in the house. Thank you, Jen, for being here. I appreciate you. Oh, she says, I look beautiful this morning as always. Well, thank you. Jill, what's for tea? Cookie Monster. Mary, hello, hello. Kayla, hello and welcome. E-Rock says, I'm at the dentist's office. Ugh, I hate it here. I'm not laughing at that. I just, the I hate it here thing is always funny to me. Lulu, hello, what's for tea? Okay, yeah, I got you. Okay, Jen. All right. Kaden says, my mom is still uber controlling while I'm 24. Tried to stop me from updating my name on documents in her computer and tried to claim it as her property simply to keep it as my dead name. Yeah, well, your mom probably has some issues that are difficult to, you know, I know she's got her own issues. And I know also that she probably does want to keep you with the former name because she's uncomfortable with your transitioning. But just know that we support you here. And you know, maybe if you can get a hold of the documents outside of her computer, you know, you don't need her computer to change legal documents. You can do that with the government or whatever, or in your own computer. I don't know if I'm helping at all with that, but just know that you're supported by us, all right? Roderick says, you should be doing what I'm doing. Hi, Roderick. Welcome. Self-awareness rocks. Yes, indeed. Jen does not like the dentist either. None of us do. The dentist is no good, but the dentist can save our lives. Let's be honest. We know that our oral health is directly connected to heart health and everything else. I forgot to turn off the heater this morning. I apologize if that's too loud. Nubia, good morning and welcome back. E-Rock says, how do you move forward when you know all you have is yourself? Like, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I have no one in my life anymore, and if I did, I don't want to assign or take on roles. Okay, that's a valid point. So look, E-Rock, first of all, there's a freedom in only having yourself in your everyday life. And that means you don't need to worry about what anyone else wants. You can focus on only what you want, and you can look at it as a gift rather than a detriment, right? I know it's hard. I have only a very few select people in my daily life because I did sort of clean out all the clutter, so to speak, and the toxic people and everything. And some people were casualties of other toxic people who weren't necessarily toxic, but who were more connected to the toxic people than they were to me. And that's difficult. However, what comes with that is, like I said, a certain amount of freedom. You are the one that makes the choices, not only about the small things like how you decorate your house and what dishes you pattern you get and all that stuff, but also about the bigger things, as in like what direction you take next. You know, what do you want to do with your time? How do you want to spend your days? Being able to focus on your own passions, your own desires, things like that. E-Rock, I think you need a project. I think maybe, I know that you're working on staying sober, and I'm very proud of you for that, and you're going through a lot of different things. So I think if you can take the time to come up with a project. Maybe you want to redecorate your house, or you want to write a book, or you want to start a blog, or you want to do something fun. I mean, I'm telling you things that I want to do sometimes, but but whatever that is for you, where does your passion lie? Let's talk about that. Find what would make you happy. If you could get up every day and never worry about money again, never worry about anything again, what would you do with your time? Think about that. This is important stuff, and I'll come back to you on that. What's for Tea says you can be your own best friend, then others may follow. Absolutely, yeah. UNA says sounds totally natural. You had to reparent yourself and you did it in 1 year. You should actually be proud of that. Well, I took way longer than that, but that's how long it took. About a year or two for me to stop acting that way, but it took way longer than that for me to get to the next level. It wasn't until I would say when I turned 35, that's around the time that I really started to get everything that had happened to me. But over the years, I slowly built up little bits of understanding, you know what I mean? But then when the thing happened, which I talked about a while back, where my mother did all the things and betrayed me, I, at that time, decided, okay, look, this, you know, something happened. Something like my eyes were opened in a way that they never had been before. So I really always say, you know, and I did have to reparent myself, but I don't really know that I fully managed to begin doing that until that point. So I want to just point that out because I certainly didn't figure it all out when I was 19. Sadly, I wish I could say that I had, but I went on to screw myself over many times before that, after that. So yeah, but I appreciate that, Peggy. That's really sweet of you. E-Rock says, I like that. What's for tea about being your best friend? I agree with that as well. Oh, Lulu says, loving the new set. Angie, you look fabulous. Thank you. I built it myself. I mean, yeah, I did build it myself. I didn't build that. I bought that. But outside of that, I built it. Let's see here. And thank you. I appreciate that. Shred Squad says, yes. Right on, Shred Squad. Kathy says, I can so relate. I was waiting for my night to save me from 42 years of living with my narcissist. I didn't understand any of what was going on. Narcissism, right? Been there. Yeah. Kat says, my boyfriend's mother is peak toxic narcissist, and they are not no contact, but his self-esteem is so low now. He expects me to be his new mother. I can't be that. Such a weird dynamic. Yeah. Kat, here's the unfortunate thing. If he is not able to, you know, take the time to learn how to heal, you might be in a difficult position. I know that you love him, but there has to be limits. And sometimes when you have a toxic parent, you don't come out as a codependent or an empath. You come out the other way. So just be really careful. Sometimes they're sneaky about what they show us, and I'm not trying to say he is anything or isn't anything. I'm just saying be careful and take your time and go as slow as you can. I'm guessing you're beyond the point of going slow, but it is a weird dynamic, and you don't have to be his mother. You're not there to be his mother. You just need to let him know. Maybe she was very controlling and she, showed her love through acts of service, in which case he might be expecting you to do his laundry and cook for him. I don't know. But you have to only do what feels right to you and comfortable to you. Don't put your own well-being on hold too long to help him. And I don't mean to say anything negative. I'm just saying you matter too. You are equally important. Don't forget. Okay. Oh, they're now no contact. That's even better. That's even better. Maybe he'll get past it now. Maybe being no contact, maybe you can help him get through it. But either way, it's going to be a process, but make sure he understands that you are equally important and you deserve as much consideration as he does. A healthy relationship is on average 50-50. There will be times when you'll give 60 and he'll give 40 and vice versa, but in general it should weigh out. It should average out, All right. Jen says, E-Rock, I started my journey at the same time alone. I walked away from everyone. It gets easier and you do begin to meet really great people. It takes a bit. Jen is not lying. Jen has been through it and she did it in such a brave. I'm still every day amazed by you, Jen. I'm so proud of you and your success and your growth in this. I met Jen online here through, I don't know, quite some time ago. I think you were still in the relationship, right, Jen, when I met you. And then she actually took the leap of faith in a big way and she rocked it, and I'm so proud of her. So Jen is definitely an inspiration for all of us. Nubia says, I seriously woke up with the nothing narcissist on my mind. None of my mental exercises worked. Okay, well, maybe you need to work through something, Nubia, that's holding you back from letting go. So maybe you need to take a little bit of time. Maybe take this weekend to kind of grieve about it, journal about it. Have you cried yet? If you need to cry, get some. This sounds silly, but sometimes we can't cry after a toxic relationship, or we can't do it in a way that allows it to be therapeutic for us. So what I tell a lot of my clients, and it really does work, is to pull together some movies that are guaranteed tear jerkers for you, that really pull the tears. And even if they're new movies, old movies, look around, see what you can find. Get them together, sit down one day, maybe on a Saturday, and watch them all back to back. Let the tears come. And initially, of course, you'll think, well, what's the point of crying for somebody on the screen? That's not how it works. The tears themselves are cleansing. They kind of remove certain emotional toxins and all this crap from your body. But there actually is scientific evidence that crying relieves physical pain as well as emotional pain. So don't discount this. For example, and this is just a personal example about a physical thing, but in the past I used to get migraines, really terrible migraines, and if I would cry, it would release some of the pain. Nobody understood what I was doing, but it worked, and it certainly didn't take it away completely, but it would release some of the migraine pain. And if you guys have ever had a migraine, Anyway, so that's what I would suggest. Maybe you need to work through something that you haven't yet, and that's why they're still stuck in your head. Don't forget about trauma bonding. It's real. And once you get past that, give yourself a weekend maybe to kind of grieve a little bit. Once you get past that, tell yourself, you know what, on Monday morning I'm starting my new life again, and I'm just going to keep going forward. Now, that doesn't mean that on Monday morning you're going to be fine and everything's going to be great, but it might mean that starting on Monday, whenever you notice yourself, thinking about him and your head's talking to you about it, maybe you use pattern interrupt and you slow down and you change your trajectory or whatever. So for example, if you wake up in the morning and you're thinking about this person, maybe you turn on some really exciting, happy music that you like and you go for a walk, or you just dance around in your house, or whatever it is for you. Do something, or brush your teeth, or take a shower, splash some cold water on your face. Anything that brings you into the moment can be a really good pattern interrupt. I know I've said this a million times, I hope you're not annoyed, but one of the things that I do is a certain affirmation, and I say to myself, I now cancel that thought and I replace it with this affirmation of my true divine desire, and then I replace whatever that thought was with something that I do want, regardless of whether it's related to that person or thought or not. So in your case, if I'm thinking about that dude, I'd be like, nope, I now cancel that thought and replace it with this affirmation of my true divine desire. My new life is going to be amazing and wonderful, blah, 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 whatever. So just a random thing, but I hope that helps a little bit. this person whose name I am incapable of reading, and I apologize, says, this is what happened to me on a hamster wheel of narcissism. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a hamster wheel. It's a cycle. It goes again and again. Yep. Yeska, hello, welcome back, my friend, says, good morning. I'm so happy you're live. I've been bad. Uh-oh, tell me the things. E-Rock says, Angie, I spent a day and a half in bed. I felt so drained and depressed after the whole thing, but I rose myself up. Hey, that's okay, E-Rock. It's okay that you did that, but I'm so proud of you for getting back up. It's okay to spend a day and a half in bed if you really needed to do that. I'm not going to judge you for that. I've wanted to do it many times. But you got up, and I'm proud of you for that. Good for you. Big hugs, my friend. Big hugs. Stacy says, yes, Ka, you okay? I would like to know the same thing. Mary says, I've been there, Angie. I've always tried to please others and tried to fill this hole in my heart with a man. Same, girl, same. Yes, thank you for sharing that with me. Yeska says, not really. Thanks for asking. Tell us what's going on, Yeska. Alicia says, I wasn't really allowed to have my own feelings, opinions, etc., unless they were aligned with the toxic people in my childhood. I wasn't allowed to figure out who I was as an individual. How many of us can relate to this? I can fully relate to that. And, even though I still tried, even though I kind of knew that I liked to write, and I kind of knew that I liked this, that, and the other thing, I was still within the confines of what I was allowed to be. And even though I was like coloring outside the box all the time, it just made people mad. It made me bad. It made me feel bad about myself, but I couldn't stop because I was not who they wanted me to be. That's the worst thing. I guess maybe if you happen to be the person that the narcissist wants you to be, you might get lucky, but even then, they're still going to find something wrong in general. E-Rock says, do you think it's a oh, this is a good question. E-Rock says, do you think it's a sign of waking up to feel really poopy? It's like it's getting worse before it gets better. I don't know if there was a gauge to know if I'm stuck or getting unstuck. This is a great question. I actually do think that it's a sign. And I think sometimes people give up before they should. And because of this part, this is hard. Because here's a couple of things to think about. Number one, when we are awake, the world is ugly, way uglier than it is when we're still kind of dozing. When we can see things for what they are and we can see people for who they are, sometimes we wish we couldn't. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've thought, man, ignorance really is bliss, So I certainly do think that it can be a sign of waking up. I see it in someone in my mind. I'm not going to tell this person's secrets, but someone in my own life right now is kind of going through that. And it's hard, but also it's exciting and exhilarating, and it will take you to the next level. So just don't give up on yourself. And Iraq, you have to remember that you're going through multiple changes at the same time. You're sober now. You're still dealing with getting over the trauma bonding stuff. You have this woman in your building causing you all kinds of grief. I mean, give yourself a break, honey. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to always be happy. Give yourself time to just be. It's okay. It's okay. Please just don't give up. Okay? All right. I would say, E-Rock, that you're getting unstuck. Because here's the thing. And I wish I could think of the exact words, but there's a quote it's part of a book by Richard Bach, and he says something like, it's a story. He says there's these little creatures that they live by, sticking onto the bottom of the river. And as the river flows, they kind of flow like this, but they never go anywhere because they're stuck to the bottom. That's how they survive. Well, one of the creatures decides, I'm tired of holding on. I just want to go with the flow, see what happens. And so the creature does let go, and he gets beaten up and, everything else along the way. But pretty soon it's like he's flying, and all the other creatures see him flying, and they're like, wow. And, of course they assume that he was the Messiah because he did something so different than everyone else. But in a way, that kind of is representative of waking up, isn't it? Because we do kind of get beaten up on the rocks along the way. And if we stick with it, we're flying in a proverbial way. Does that make sense? I hope it helps a little bit. Jen says, yeah, absolutely relatable. Thank you, Jen. Lakeshore says, going on 30 years with my narcissist. Wow. I've nearly lost my children's relationship with me because of his control over me and my time. I'm slipping to watch you and read and write responses. Well, I'm glad that you're here with us, and nearly is not completely, so don't give up on those kids if you can avoid it. Just give them the space they need. Tell them you'll always be there for them. And I don't know, maybe you're thinking about moving on. It's never too late. You don't have to stay stuck there. I'm not going to push you, but just know that you might be surprised how many people after 30 years finally say that's enough. And you can do this if you choose to do this. But either way, I'm glad you're here with us and among people who understand. Erock says, I want to assign some kind of meaning to those terrible feelings. I totally feel that. I totally do. And I hope that what I talked about a minute ago was helpful for you, my friend. Hello, love and peace forever. For Eva. Welcome back. Let's see here. UNA says to Erock, later today, this dental appointment will be a thing of the past. I wrote you something regarding your position with your neighbor, but it's way too long to post here. Any ideas of how I can send? Now, normally I do not suggest sharing contact information, but Erock, if you want to send me your email address at angyatkinson@gmail, I will connect you with UNA because I know that her intention is pure. She emailed me and we talked about it a little bit, so I would be happy to connect the two of you if that is of interest to you. Just send me an email, angyatkinson@gmail. Please don't put your email in the chat, and if you did, just delete it. So we want to keep you safe, both of you. Let's see here. And Erock, if you do that, just put Erock in the subject line so I don't miss it. Okay. All right. Rihanna says, thank you for your wonderful words and messages. I appreciate you so much. I love that. Thank you, Rihanna, and welcome back. Erock, Jen says, I think the fact that you're asking yourself if you're stuck kind of already shows your progress toward being unstuck. You're awesome, sunshine. Yes, girl, and yes, Erock. Yes, Jen, that's absolutely right. And Erock, I hope you're picking up what she's putting down, because that's true. Shred Squad says, my whole life has been ground from one narcissist to another. Been there. From my parents to all of my relationships. Is it normal for someone like me to be drawn toward these people because it's what I'm used to? Absolutely. We don't even realize we're doing it. But some people tell me, this might help you understand, some people tell me they actually get bored with normal people, non-narcissist. And there's a whole bunch of reasons behind that. I'm not going to go into all the details today, but trauma bonding, lack of ability to produce certain neurotransmitters after going through abuse. It's a whole long thing. Look up This Is Your Brain on Narcissistic Abuse. It's a video that I made a while back that explains all that after our session today. Let's see here. Yes, totally normal. Miss Katie the Indigo, cool name, says, hi everyone, I'm new to this family. Welcome, Katie. I come from a narcissistic family where I was the black sheep. Same. Both of my parents are narcissists. I've survived 2 long-term relationships with narcissists. Well, you're in the right place, my friend. Welcome. And I'm happy to have you with us. Erock says, Jen, thank you so much. It's what I want for myself. I'm proud of myself that I just spoke up in the office. Good for you. Tell me more about that. Jen says, welcome and good morning. Terry says, how true. Thanks, Terry. Everyone's welcoming Katie. Hey, Violet. Welcome back, my friend. Rihanna, I love your emojis. Oh, darn it. I hate when this happens. You know what just happened, right? The chat jumped on me. Why does YouTube do that to me? It's like they're trying to drive me crazy. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, nope. Christina. Hello, Christina, member of my channel. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to get to your question momentarily. Now I went too far. Okay, here we go. All the emojis. All right. Yes, Nicole Angelina. Hello, my friends. Good to see you again. Says, welcome, Miss Kathy. You came to the right place. Angie will get you all the way together. Happy to have you back, Nicole Angelina. Yes, Erock, never forget how far you've come, even through the baby steps. You really do rock. Yes, Jen. Katie says to Nicole, thank you. She's definitely helped me through so much already. I'm so glad to hear that. Jen says, morning to Violet. Hello, Caribbean D. Welcome back. Or welcome. I'm not sure if I've seen you before, but that's a really awesome name. Caribbean D, loving life's journey. Let's see. Okay, Flower Child. Penny in Las Vegas, welcome. Christina, I'm loving the roses and the flowers and the hearts and the special queen being 4 months. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Rihanna says, I'm helping so much. Okay. Hey, Megan. Let's see. E-Rock is in the dental chair, but the dentist is still not here. E-Rock, if you have to stop listening, I hope you come back and I hope you come back and listen to the rest of it when you're done. Yeah. Let's see. Rihanna has to leave oh, she's working, so she may have to leave. Have a wonderful day. Okay, right on. Hey, Linda. Hey, Shelly. Welcome back, you guys. Okay, wait a minute. E-Rock says, I love you for live streaming this now, my people. We love you too. Shred Squad says, really not want to talk about my feelings, not looking for a pity party, but a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know any of this. The realization is a lot to take in. I don't even know where to start. Okay. Take a deep breath and start with being compassionate to yourself, which may be something you haven't done in a long time. Give yourself time. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Don't expect everything to be all better. Breathe. And let me know the status. Are you still with the narcissist or have you moved on? Let me know that whenever you get a chance. I can't remember. I think you told me and I'm sorry if I forgot. I try to remember everybody's story, but sometimes I get a little scattery. But I do know you've been with us for a couple days now and I'm really happy that you're here. I mean, here in the live streams that I've seen you. But I would say start with giving yourself a break, being compassionate. Don't expect everything to be in your head overnight. Take the time to wrap your head around what's happened to you and to give yourself time to grieve and mourn and then to focus on, okay, now I know it's not my fault. This is what happened. And then we move forward from there. If you want, check out some of the playlists on my front page. After this session's over, there are certain playlists for different levels of recovery and different needs. So you might check those out if you're still struggling. And know that you're not alone. Know that you're supported here in this group. Ace of Swords, hello and welcome. Let's see, Shelly Taylor, good morning. E-Rock says, I'm proud of myself for being assertive and not aggressive with reception. Good for you, good for you, good for you. Yes. Angela King, hello, hello. She says, how do you truly break a trauma bond? This is a great question, and we kind of have talked about it a little bit. It is done with intention. You have to intend to do it because your body doesn't want to do it and your brain doesn't want to do it because you're really chemically addicted to that person. So it's very similar to going through any other sort of broken addiction or breaking an addiction, because you are addicted through the trauma bond, through the brain chemicals, all the things. So if you take the time to sort of first become clear on what has happened, understand the trauma bond, understand how the brain chemicals are connected. If you just type in my name and trauma bonding, you'll see a whole bunch of videos explaining that here on YouTube, and work through the steps. One of them is like 10 steps to breaking a trauma bond. I'm not going to go through all the steps here today, but if you want to watch those videos and let me know your thoughts, then I will come back and give you additional videos if you need those. But in the meantime, start by recognizing, and you've done that you are trauma bonded, and then, understand how the trauma bond works, understand what it is, and then work toward recognizing that, okay, when I have this urge to call this person, this is not because I really deeply love this person or because they really deeply love me. This is because I'm addicted to this person. So in the same way that, somebody who is addicted to alcohol can't take one drink without being re-addicted, you cannot have one bit of contact without being re-addicted. Now, it's harder when you have a child with that person. And if the child is under 18 and you must deal with that person, you must do it on a very, flat basis. And what I mean is, if possible, only by text, or if not possible, use your gray rock method. And again, you can type in my name and the word gray rock into search and you'll see all the details on that. But essentially it just means you don't give them any of your emotion. All right. Let me know your thoughts. E-Rock says, yeah, it's kind of like that for me. I feel you. I'm guessing you're talking about when I said that we feel like we kind of wish we didn't see everything. Yeah, that would tell me that you are moving in the right direction. You're getting bumped on the rocks right now, but you're about to be flying. So don't give up. You're almost there. You're almost there. All right. E-Rock says, UNA says, E-Rock freedom, way to go. And E-Rock says, I used to rely so much on others. I need a project. It's hard because I'm not working. Finances. Yeah. Well, so maybe your project, you would be amazed at the things you can do with just what you have in the house, or even, picking up little cheap things along the way, or go into, I love to go to like the Salvation Army or the Goodwill and just shop, find stuff that, might look good on my walls or might look good, on my body even, whatever. You can find really cool stuff at thrift shops and yard sales. And I don't know how many of you guys are with me on Facebook, but I found this amazing piece for my living room that cost me $10, and it was probably, I was looking at similar pieces online for $300 and $400 and $500. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And so you bargain hunt, my friend. And if you don't have cash to spend, look for stuff you can repurpose around the house, or whatever it is. You'd be surprised what you can do with almost nothing. I do suggest a project. We should dig into that maybe one day. Let's see. Violet says, to Shred Squad, in my opinion, our societies in general are very emotionally repressed. To feel and talk about your feelings is not wanting a pity party. Oh, this is so good. It's human and necessary to heal. Violet, yes, yes, yes. Let me just read that again. In our societies in general, we are very emotionally repressed. She says, to feel and talk about your feelings is not wanting a pity party. It's human and necessary to heal. See, I would suggest to Shred Squad that talking about saying, I'm not trying to have a pity party is a leftover from your relationship, because you might have needed to preface any feelings you talked about with, I'm not trying to be like that, but and I think we all do that. I still do it today sometimes. I feel like I don't want to share my feelings with people, or I feel nervous to do that sometimes because they always, up to that certain point, would discount everything I had to say. Narcissists in my life, toxic people. So this is a safe place. This is a safe place to share your feelings. Span groups on Facebook, the myspanily.com site off of Facebook, all of those things are safe places to share your feelings. And as you grow forward, you will find people in your everyday life that you can see in person in real life and actually connect with them in a safe way too. But take your time and don't jump into anything, because you are still healing. But maybe look for, platonic friends in your local area that eventually you might trust enough to be able to say your real feelings to without having to preface, it's not a pity party. We know it's not a pity party. We're all here and we get you. All right. Thank you for saying that, Violet. That was really powerful. Katie says to Nicole, yeah, it's okay. I completely understand. I struggle to communicate verbally due to abuse as well. I think we can all relate to that up to a point. Yeah. It took me a long time to get over it. I'm still not, I'm over it. I'm not like living in sadness and unhappy. I'm really, really happy in my life, but getting there was hard. And I still do, like I said, I still have little leftover things that I have to intentionally manage all the time. And that's probably just part of living as a survivor. But again, I have to say, we do become more evolved on so many levels than people who don't go through this if we choose to intentionally heal and work toward that. And that's why I'm here doing this show instead of continually talking about just narcissists. I will occasionally throw out a video about narcissists, but never during this show, because this show's about you, not them. This show's about next level stuff, and they don't get to be on the next level. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's see here. Uncle Meow Meow, that's the best name. I love that. Uncle Meow Meow says, oh wait, did I get that one? Shred Squad Jen says, I can relate. I had no idea either. It's a lot to take in. Lots of self-care helps. That's a valid point. Thank you, Jen. Uncle Meow Meow says, I feel so tempted to call her out on everything she did to me, but it hurts to even think that she was or had cheated on me while we were together. Let me just say this to you really quickly. I totally get that feeling. I know how that feels, and you're doing the right thing by not calling her out. And here's why. Because if you do, she's just going to say that you are the problem, you're the bad guy, you're the one that caused all the trouble in her life, and she'll smear you, and she'll probably say you abused her, or whatever else she wants to say. And in fact, you won't get any satisfaction out of it. You'll just get more pain. It's like, narcissists are like brick walls, and talking to them is like banging your head against a brick wall. So if you bang your head against a brick wall for so long, eventually you're going to bleed, you're going to become injured, you might knock yourself out, you might even, God forbid, go to the extreme of that. But you're never going to change the brick wall. They can wash the blood right off of there. They don't even feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with narcissists. You cannot change them. only they can change them. And unfortunately, even though I wish I could say that I've seen it, I've never seen it. I have seen behavioral changes on a couple of occasions, but they were surface. And the moment that they were not in therapy anymore, they instantly went back to their old behaviors. And yeah, okay. So calling her out might feel like a satisfactory, it might offer you a certain amount of satisfaction, but ultimately you're going to wish you didn't do it, because she's going to smear you and display narcissistic rage, narcissistic injury, all of that. And she's going to make you look worse when she's done with you. And people who don't understand what she is will take her side, and then you'll be devastated beyond belief. Don't do it. It's not worth your energy. I promise you, the best revenge always is to move forward and live well without them, despite the fact that they exist. Not to spite, but as though they don't matter. Live like that. And you'll get there. It's hard when you first get out to even think about that, but I want you to really focusing your energy forward and away from her, forward and toward what you want. Even if that's eventually you would like to have a happy relationship with somebody who's worth your time and energy. But give yourself time. Don't jump into that. Take your time, go slowly, heal first before you jump into anything serious. Okay, I hope that's a little bit helpful. Uncle Meow Meow. That's such a cute name. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm kind of into my cats. I like cats. Okay. Although I have had to lock them out of this office during sessions because they get in my in my set a lot. Let's see here. Roderick says, okay, everyone, I got to walk my German Shepherd, Stella. Aw. Okay. All right. We're staying elevated, Roderick. Thanks for coming in. E-Rock says, fitness. I used to be a health and nutrition science major. I know I used to put myself through school, work, etc. The dentist is here. Okay, I'll be back soon, hopefully. Okay. Okay. Hey, Stacy Style. Welcome back. Nicole Angelina says, oh, girl. Yes. I'm so glad you're back. I have so missed you. I love Nicole Angelina. Okay. She says, sometimes I think narcissists activate our superpowers. I really think so too, especially when we get away and we intentionally choose to heal and move forward. I don't know that they activate them, but something in them causes us to go, hold up, something's not right here. And then we wake up and we start to see things in a whole other light and a whole other way. And then life gets really good if we choose to intentionally keep going in that way. Remember, the best revenge is to live your best life without them, despite the fact that they exist, as though they don't exist. Because what do you think a narcissist most wants from all of us? Well, they want supply. They want our attention. They want our energy, right? Don't give them that, but live really well anyway. Don't let them think you're sad without them. Let them think you're living your best life and that you don't even know them anymore. What is it they say? My kids always say, and it's a joke, but they say, I'm going to get famous and act like I don't know nobody. And it's like a meme or something, but instead of getting famous and acting like you don't know nobody, get happy and act like you don't know that narc. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's silly, but I hope you get it. Hello, Nikki. Welcome back. Hello, Hyla. Welcome. Let's see. Nikki says, I'm just 2 weeks away from him and I'm 100,000% better. And I love that. Be careful, because when we get away from them, we do feel woo, and then we're all of a sudden like sometimes crash because the reality hits us. So if you get to that place, Nikki, come talk to me. Tell me the pink cloud exploded, you hit the floor, and I'll help you. But I hope that doesn't happen, because a lot of times what I see, and this might be the case for you too, Nikki, a lot of times when we are in those relationships, we have to plan for so long to get out, or we have to try so hard to get out, that we really kind of mourn the relationship while we're still in it. Does that happen? Did that happen for you? Let me know. I hear that with a lot of my clients as well. Kay Terrell, hello, Kay Terrell, welcome, says hello everyone. Roderick, have a great day, says Jen. All right. Chris Bosch in the house. Hey Chris, welcome back. Shred Squad says, does it make sense that depression was my comfort place? But it seems the older I've gotten, the depression has taken a scary different turn. It does make sense, because that was probably your norm, and it was probably in some ways the only way you were allowed to feel. If you were anything like me growing up, I was only allowed to be not screaming, not crying, not acting crazy, not having emotions or opinions of my own, and so I just kind of went numb, and that looked a lot like depression. I was depressed a lot. I was unhappy a lot, and yeah, I think that's normal for us in a lot of cases. When we aren't big fighters, we just kind of deflate. I don't know if you can relate to that. Kay Terrell, loving the musical keyboard and the flowers and all the good things. That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing those. Miss Katie says, how do you deal with a situation where I discarded my covert narcissist, but my godson was left behind to the abused? Oh, and I worry because he's autistic and cannot communicate his feelings. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I would say maybe, Katie, that I don't know how old your godson is. If he's old enough to get like emails or texts that can help, you can just reach out to him and talk with him that way. If not, I mean, you're going to have to make a choice. I don't want you to go and deal with a narcissist, but if there's some way that you can let your godson know that you're there for them no matter what, and that you will be there for him whenever he needs you, that would be really helpful, I think. Okay. Okay. Thought I just heard. Nope. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Angela says, I've worked on myself and I'm in a better place. My thing about him, I'm thinking about him after 2 years still. Oh, how do I stop this? Okay. Yeah, start with those pattern interrupts, Angela. Give yourself, try taking the time to sit down and journal about it, let the tears flow, do all the things, and then start over on Monday or whatever, and do pattern interrupts like we talked about. Look up right here on YouTube, Angie Atkinson pattern interrupt, and you'll be able to see a video where I go through a whole bunch of different pattern interrupts that work and why they work. Try that. Yes, Nicole, energy vampires, indeed. Violet says to Uncle Meow Meow, I love that name so much. I think I'm going to start calling my cat that. That's really cute. Okay. Nothing she did to you is your fault. It's all because she's a broken person. Your job now is to know, your job now that you know what she is, it's your job to take care and protect yourself. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's absolutely the truth. Thank you, Violet. Thank you. And Phoenix Rescue says, Shred Squad, I feel the exact same way. I think a lot of us can relate to how that feels. Yeah? Welcome, Phoenix. Flower Child says, I'm no contact with my narcissist mother and narcissist ex-husband. My son is retiring and the narcissists are both invited to his retirement party. Help. I know it's going to be up to me to be the adult as always. Oh, that's terrible. No contact with my narcissist. Okay. Here's what you're going to do. Try to get a friend or someone that you trust to go with you to buffer a little bit if possible. And this person doesn't even need to know your son. I mean, they just need to be there with you to help you, right? To buffer a little bit. Or a family member who is on your side. Anybody who can be next to you, even if they're not like totally, just anybody that you trust. And if not, you're going to have to gray rock. This is what I would do. I would keep it very surface level. I would not give them one bit of my emotion. I would focus all of my energy on my son. I would not speak to them unless spoken to. And if they do speak to you, speak to them like they're strangers. Like strangers. So when they come up and they say, oh, isn't this great? Oh, yes, this is so lovely, blah, blah, blah. Nothing else. Don't over-speak to them, and don't speak to them unless they speak to you first. Gray rock, have focus only on your kid and anybody at the place that's good for you. Anybody else, as far as you're concerned, doesn't exist. If they do come up and speak to you, speak to them like strangers or rude customers. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ever worked in customer service and you had a rude customer, keep it brief, non-emotional, and make an excuse to walk away. Or, oh, so-and-so's over there. I'll catch you later. Walk away. Don't give them your energy. Try to just avoid them if you can. I mean, but don't make too much of an effort because you don't want them to think they have any power over you. Yeah. I hope that's a little bit helpful. That would drive me insane. And you do have to be the adult, as always. I would be really irritated if my son invited those people, if I were you. But, we can't force our children to understand everything, and especially when, they're going through all that. So, yeah. Azul, welcome back, my friend. Nikki says, get to know yourself. I know it sounds weird, but this is legit. Let me read this. Get to know yourself. I know it sounds weird, but it is so important. She's right. She says, for instance, I realized I love to dust. It really is a form of meditation, and you can make money doing it. Oh, that's legit. Yes, indeed, it is. I'll tell you something. It is so important to get to know yourself, because we don't. When we get out of these relationships, we think we know who, because maybe we used to know who we were, or maybe we never did, or we think we do. But oh my gosh, going through, it's like an existential crisis after you get separated from a narcissist, because suddenly you can suddenly choose to be who you are, and oh my gosh, suddenly the real you starts to come out. And if you let it and you embrace it, it can be a beautiful thing. I'm just saying. Okay, absolutely, Nikki. Very important stuff. Leslie says, hey Leslie, welcome. She says, depression can be comfortable, but it gets bad. Don't isolate and talk to someone safe. Don't isolate and talk to someone safe, because I don't want you to think that she just said don't talk to someone safe. Do talk to someone safe. She said that may help you not go too far. I've been too far, and those were the darkest moments of my life. I can relate. I have had some dark freaking moments myself. But you know what? We're sitting here today in the light together, and that is a beautiful thing. It is. Okay, now listen, guys. I have to read this just because. Hey, Bonnie, welcome back. Nicole Angelina says, America is the matrix. Understand, living in a reality that requires you to be someone you're not causes mental illness and cognitive disorders. So be who you are. I'm just going to add this up. Be who you are, because who you are is a beautiful thing. Unless you're a serial killer or a horrible person, which none of us are serial killers or horrible people here. Be who you are and embrace it, and be unapologetically yourself. When you can do that, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It makes your life so much better. Bonnie says it will be real interesting to see what the narcissists do as the coronavirus. We're not even going there. Yeah, I can't even go there. Yes, pattern interrupt. Good, Nubia. Good. Movie day it is. Yes, yes, yes. I would love for you to do that, and I want you to, journal if you need to, whatever you need to do, but I would love for you to come back tomorrow during our live stream and talk with me about that and how it went. But you can also stop in later today if you want, because here in a minute, I'm going to close up for right now, but then I'll be back with Dana at 3 o'clock today. Normally we don't go that late, 3 o'clock Central Time, but we're doing that today because yesterday there was a whole situation that happened, but it's all good. It's all okay. So we're going to be here on this channel at 3 p.m. Central, which is, I think, 2 p.m. Eastern. No, or 4 p.m. Don't listen to me. Just know it's 3 p.m. Central. I'm really bad at time zones, so do your own calculations. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, Bonnie agrees. It's like being in a hamster wheel. Phoenix says, I recently had a baby and he passed away. Phoenix, my heart hurts for you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He was a preemie. It has been a month, and it's taken a lot of time to heal and recover. I've spent days in bed not doing anything. Angie, you taught me that it's okay to allow yourself time and space to heal and recover, no matter how long it takes. That's the truth. And I'm just so sorry for your loss. I really am. I'm a mom, and I've had 3 babies, and I cannot imagine the pain, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Thank you, Grace. She said it's a cute shirt. Thank you. I like it too. It's growing on me. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap up for right now. And I will be back at 3 p.m. Central Time with Dana Morningstar on this channel to talk about, I think we're going to start off by talking about learned helplessness, and then we're going to kind of go from there like we always do. So come see us 3 p.m. Central Time right here on this channel. And until then, please know that I'm grateful for you, each of you, and thank you for being a part of my day and a part of my life. Thank you for letting me be a part of yours. I'll see you soon. Okay.